Hey everyone, welcome to the Sitch Show. This is our 10th episode. And so we're going to be looking at world event from a spiritual perspective. I'm here tonight with Matthew Stapley and Ashley Metzieux. And we're looking to have a lot of fun with you, give you some free readings, and give you some good stuff. I won't say the good S, but the good stuff. Hi guys, how are you?
It's the shit word.
Exactly.
The good shit word.
Embrace it.
So, how's everybody this week? Oh my God, I haven't talked to you, and usually I talk to Ashley every day for our programs, and now it's like we're sort of on co-vacation.
Kind of. I think we're also kind of unplugging. All three of us.
Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah.
It was snowing. It was calm. It was nice this week. We got twice about 10 to 20 centimeters, I think.
Now it's gone.
It's going to come back. Don't worry. Tomorrow's 25 millimeters of rain. Yes.
What?
Yeah, because I'm staying inside, so I don't
care. What happens when I unplug? I don't even it's just the shit. I don't even watch the weather.
That's
As a matter of fact, the last time it snowed, I didn't really even know it was going to snow.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was the beginning of the week. And how about you, Matt? How are you holding out?
Well, I unplugged, I had my phone on silent all day, and then I just happened to look over at 6:40, and it was like, oh,
exactly.
crap.
Oh, it's Sunday.
It's Sunday. And
so
now I'm here. Now I'm here.
Did you knit anything new, or?
No, I've been painting actually, and decorating for Christmas. Inappropriate Christmas decor.
Okay, we'll go on to the next question.
And one that was totally innocent, and everybody saw something inappropriate in it by accident. I don't know.
Was that on your website or?
No. I mean, I should, but no.
That's hilarious. So anything new, guys?
Anything new?
Yes.
The world's crazy. Mainly during Black Friday sales.
Oh yes, that was actually it started I think on Thursday or something, right?
Yeah, so a lot of companies also started a week out though. But this weekend it was just madness everywhere. I did curbside pickup. I bought one of those Amazon cubes, which I didn't really know existed until the day I bought it. But hey, if you guys also want one, they're wicked. I love mine. But
what is it? Is it like a fancy typewriter or like something?
It's like an Android box. It's an Android box on steroids.
I've never heard of it.
It's great. It's got a ton of stuff on it. It's awesome. I don't have cable, so I use that. But
like Apple TV? Is that it?
Better.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know that.
So I went on Best Buy because they had it on sale from like $150 down to like $90 or like $99 or something like that. So I bought it online. I did the curbside pickup thing, which at first I was like, well, I could just walk into the store and buy it. Why would I do this? But whatever. So I did it anyway, curbside pickup. It took about 2.5 hours to get the confirmation email to go and pick it up.
That's pretty quick.
So I was like, okay. At first I was like, fuck, I can just walk in there and get it quicker than this. But now typically, so before this, Best Buy, I was walking in, no problems. But I guess they have recently switched their model back to a previous stage. But now they have a really cool online pickup, which they didn't have before. So I got my email and then I drove there, and I'm happy I did the curbside pickup because there's like 20 people standing outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I've been through that.
Now they have outside, they actually have numbered parking spaces. Now, granted, there was only 4. They should have like 10 because when I got there, they were all full. So I had to like wait for someone to leave. But either way, I pulled into one of them and it took less than 5 minutes for the employee to come bring me my stuff. So it was pretty good. So yeah, if anyone's looking to buy stuff, just do the curbside.
Did you get any really good deal, or just the only thing you bought?
There was that. I bought a pair of jeans that were on sale. That's about it. I don't really need a lot of stuff. The new stuff I will be doing though, I'm going to hold off till next weekend, is new living room furniture.
Why next weekend? Is it?
Because I know there's bigger deals coming out at the store.
That's correct. Usually I go after Christmas because the deals are better after Christmas, right? Everybody's rushing for now. But I found their process was really cool. The next thing I want them to think is create a Black Friday where they tell me what they want me to buy and then have it all programmed. So I just show up and they just give it to me. That's the new thing I want.
What?
I don't know how
That would be cool.
I don't know.
They know so much about us, our metrics or anything.
Are you talking about like AI? Like you want AI to read your
okay.
brain?
Correct, man.
Don't know.
That's the next phase. I'm telling you, man. I'm not saying anything as a psychic. I'm just playing right now.
I was going to say, you're going to freak people out right now.
I'm pretty sure that if AI went inside your brain, it would break everything. It would just break. It would break. The internet would break. Like everything would break. The AI would break. Terminators would happen, and like the zombie things.
But you could see the funny thing. My previous girl, Maria, she's like, they always know what I want on Facebook. I keep buying because she buys glittery stuff, and I explained to her, I'm like, you're kidding me, right? I said those are called pixels. They're tracking. Oh wow, they always know what I want because I keep buying.
Yeah, and your phone listens to you. That's another thing.
So did you guys see what Apple is coming out with though for iPhones?
What creepy stuff are they coming out with now?
No, it's really cool.
VR? AR?
Yeah, no, it's like this little, I forget what it's called, like a lemon or a dot or something green, lime. I don't remember what it's called. But anyway, it's this thing where it will tell you, there'll be like an icon on the top where the bars are and like the Bluetooth thing. It'll be up there and it will tell you if one of the apps is listening or watching you. So it will actually like light up.
Mine does that.
Yeah, well.
I think it does that, yeah.
Yeah, mine
but you have to
doesn't.
put the notification on.
What kind of iPhone
You have an iPhone 4.
I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android. I have a Huawei P30 Pro.
So
like, okay,
I have the 11 Pro.
Year or two.
And then on the top right, there'll be like a little dot, like a green dot or an orange dot, and it tells you if your camera's recording you or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it is. But there's a name for it, and I feel like it's named after a fruit, but
it's called Sketchy.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, yeah, but
I go for colors. So.
I'm pretty sure this is the opposite of that. Have you ever seen the movie The Stepford Wives, where like all the husbands have this remote that controls?
Oh yes.
I think that's what this is. I think so.
Actually, let's ask people if they found anything different for Black Friday.
There is tons of sales everywhere. Like there always is every year. But I think the question should be: did people buy stuff that they didn't need?
Correct.
Or do they only buy stuff that they need?
Because they're usually like huge TVs. I remember I went to a Superstore, which is a grocery store, and there's such a lineup. I was just gonna buy carrots and celery to make like spaghetti sauce, and I get there, I'm looking at it, I'm not going through that. So I just went home, but I asked the guy before leaving. I said, "What's going on?" He says, "There's all these Black Friday sales." I'm like, "What are the grapes like 25 cents or something?" But they had TVs and all types of stuff, which I wasn't expecting them to sell at that point.
Right. So if we're going to talk about what we want versus what we need, can we explain the difference for our viewers and some of our hosts who can't seem to tell the difference between those two
let's be real here. Like, if you have a couch and 2 of 3 cushions have holes in it and they're disastered, and you've had it for like a million years and it smells, you probably need a new couch because that's gnarly. Versus look at
having 5 TVs and decided I need 2 new ones because they're 4K.
Yeah, you want that.
Okay, that makes sense. So when I'm glitter shopping for craft projects, so if there's like the really good stuff, but I have like similar colors, but it's fancier, like biodegradable or something, that's a need, right?
That's a fucking want, bro.
That's a want.
I want to change the rules of it. I'm going to write Oxford Dictionary and I'm going to make them change it.
Well, actually, let's be honest here. Maybe it's a need for Matthew.
Let's be honest, LA. Let's be honest.
Maybe it's a need for Matthew, but in the normal physical world, maybe it's a want for
listen, I'm just afraid to get my gay card taken away.
I don't think that could ever be taken away from you, Matt.
No, it could. Listen, if I miss like one of those gay agenda emergency meetings where we have to learn new Martha Stewart paint colors and like decorating tips and stuff like that, I could lose it. Like yours is different, Ashley. You just have to make sure you can fix shit and like change light bulbs and move in with other women like overnight.
See, Colleen and McKinnon said, I got the new Xbox Series X, which is in high demand. See,
that's
that's
a
Right.
need. That's a need.
because if you have Xbox, then you want that one, then you want the PS5,
You
and
know
you're
what,
like
though?
there waiting. You're waiting for the order form, and like, okay, it's gonna be 9 o'clock. I'm just gonna.
But you
prep.
know what? In 2020, I think that either of those are a need because if you get stuck in your house because of a lockdown, you'll keep your sanity.
It's true.
Actually, if you have kids and you don't have those things, I guarantee you're gonna need either you invest in a psychiatrist, psychologist, or you just get the Xbox for cheaper.
Yeah.
That's how it's gonna go.
Look, somebody's agreeing with me. Brooke is a gay man in a woman's body, and she says glitter is always a need.
There you go. See, I told you, it's all a matter of perception.
I'm also going to try and fix this so that people aren't in my mouth like when they come on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, so most people are saying they bought stuff that they needed. Okay,
That didn't do
that's
it.
not too much in
Over.
stores. That's true. I found a lot of it. This, doing in terms of. Oh, actually, you know what? Why don't we tell them our surprise for Christmas?
Oh,
So-
yes.
All right. So in the next couple of weeks, or maybe by Christmas, we're going to get a pair of yoga pants. That's right. From one of my friends and client, myrosebuddha.com. So we're gonna start next week. I'm going to.
You're gonna say booty
Just-
for a second.
You're gonna what?
What does that sound like with a French accent?
So we're going to have is it a draw? We're going to do a draw in which we're going to give a pair of yoga pants. You just need to choose the size and which kind you want, and give us your address when you win, and just ship it to you from my.
But LA, they want to know, how do they win these booty pants?
Made for yoga.
Not there yet. I have to figure it out because I don't want to do a lotto and have the lotto 649 people. So, well, if you do any type of sweepstakes, this is what you have to do. So we're gonna make it fun. We're gonna do.
What are they going to do? Come
There's
and
2-3
steal our
weeks before
granola
Christmas,
bars?
There's 2-3 weeks before Christmas, so we'll do one a week. How's that?
All right.
Okay, but what are we doing though? Like, how do people enter into win booty pants?
I'm not sure yet. I have to figure it out. I just said. I just thought it was a fun thing.
It is. So,
Okay.
so basically, the gist is at some point between now and Christmas, somebody's going to win some yoga pants.
We're gonna
just don't know
explain the
how.
details
Wait,
next week.
wait,
We're gonna
wait,
start in December. Just made it up.
But we can't really say how because we're worried the lottery is going to come and take our granola away because we're like into yoga. And then, so basically, just stay by your Ouija boards, everybody. We are
Yeah.
going to get the information too.
We don't know what we're
as soon as
doing. We
possible.
just know we have booty pants coming.
Plus, I also have to tell my friend for her to organize it, just like you did. What? Yeah, I told people they're gonna win yoga pants, so and I'll take care of it. But maybe you want to help us out. So yeah, that'll be fun. They're really nice. If you want to go to the website just to see for a while, it's myrosebuddha.com. But we'll come up with the specifics next week. Now it's just that I thought about it and I opened my mouth and it came out.
It was a good idea at the time. It's just
I have a really important question about the yoga pants
Yeah.
because I don't. I know.
wait,
I don't.
Wait, their website. Wait, I just thought there's mostly for women. So most people are here are women. So okay, I'm good. For now.
Okay.
Think of
So,
something.
but tell me, is there a disclaimer on the yoga pants that says if you wear these between like 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. into Starbucks, you automatically have to ask for the manager? Because I feel like that's a warning somewhere on there.
Okay, let me take some note. Let me write that
Yeah,
down because
I
I'm
think it's
asking
important.
him.
Yeah.
Is there a disclaimer? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah,
That if
let me
you
get back to you.
wear them into a Starbucks between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., that you automatically have to ask for a manager and make a complaint. Yeah, I feel like
Is that a Starbucks or it could be Second Cup and all those?
no, that's a Starbucks
I
thing.
think it's Starbucks only, or
Yeah.
a Panera drive-through, like
A who?
one of that. Yeah.
What's a Panera drive? Panera, how do you spell that drive-through?
Panera, and it's basically like the carb dealer, and they have a drive-through window where you can get carbs that taste good. Yeah. Anyway, so just I feel like those are the two places that you turn into one of those people.
Okay,
if you're wearing
I'm gonna have to explain the Panera thing for her because I don't think she knows what that is.
Google it. There's one of
Yes.
Sandwiches with soup.
You have
all
a crack house that does drive-through?
carb dealer. Car dealer, not crack dealer.
Welcome to the Sitch Show, where we give away prizes, but we don't know how.
Correct. There we go. That's about it right now. Dunkin' Donuts, I'm not sure. Well, we have to check those.
They're not as bougie.
I'll keep you
No.
up.
Wait, possibly, but I think the time of day is different, and you have to have a white Coach purse with your yoga pants, and then maybe.
I'm thinking they're going to get more and more confused by the minute.
Probably.
Since
People don't even know what's happening right now in here.
I don't
I mean,
either.
I don't. Oh shit! I almost
we
closed.
had people ask us last week to talk about the shadow,
Yes, let's
the
do
shadow
that.
self. So we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. I'm okay.
Bless
I don't
you.
have anything. I'm
Bless your
done.
soul.
I tested negative, so I'm good. The vibe from the three of you is so vibrant and fun. You're all too cute. Thank you. I think it's the shine
girl.
on my hair or lack thereof. So thank you so much.
We're talking about shadows. My dogs get scared of their shadows sometimes.
I can understand that.
Just a kiwi.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I remember seeing him a couple of weeks ago.
He's so cute. They're sleeping right now.
So people, they were asking about the shadow. So does anybody know anything about the shadow self? The dark shadow we talked about and the light shadow.
My shadow's a beast. That's all I know.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because it's me.
And Matt, what do you know about the shadow self?
Okay, well, sit down. Put on your seatbelt.
I can't.
Really exciting.
Adjust. So there's no chair.
Fine. So the shadow self, in my understanding of it, the way that I work with people with the shadow, is it's our unconscious self. And it's also the part of us where we keep our pain, our ego is very tied into it, our defense mechanisms are very tied into it. It's almost like a secondary operating system. So when we are triggered, like when we are triggered by trauma or anything like that, our shadow becomes our primary operating system. So if we look at light and shadow as two different aspects of ourself, our light self is our awareness, it's our oneness, it's our integrated self, it's our best self, it's our healed self, it's all of that. The shadow side is the antithesis of that. The shadow side is where we keep our things that we've buried, our deep, dark desires, fears, insecurities, all of that. And the ego is more on the shadow side. And the ego is our survival mechanism. Its job is to ensure that the survival of the current state of being, whatever that is, for better or worse. And so we all have both elements of this. And shadow healing, shadow journeying, is to go into the shadow, to see what's there, to pull out the broken bricks of our foundation and to heal it so that our light gets brighter and our shadow gets less dark. So that's my two cents on it. Yeah.
It sounds about right. So the shadow self really is that part of you that deals with, things that you've just shoved, like Matt, you said. Okay. First of all, one of the big things to know is the shadow self is there with you when you're born. It just follows you throughout your life.
Yeah.
And it's a being. So it's an entity. Some people think it's just like a concept. It's not. It's like a being. Like when you contact, if I contact somebody on the other side, it's like contacting the shadow self, which is the dark shadow of people and the light shadow. So for myself, when I started, I was about 23-year-old and I started developing those psychic abilities. I started looking inside people's shadow and communicating with that part of them because I didn't even know what I was doing that at the time. I would just ask my guides to tell me through their spirit guides, what is it that they need healing with? And I would be able to know that, at the age of 14 or 16, this happened to you. So a lot of people, the aggression, the hostility they have, the lack of reliability, of preparedness, weakness, the constant need of being validated, their insecurities, all of that just is buried in the shadow. The lack of character, things like pride or low self-esteem, all of that is just buried there. So what happens is that the shadow keeps it for you until at one point you're able to hear it and then begin to heal it. And so a lot of people will hear of the dark shadow, but they'll not hear as much about the fact that there's also a light shadow, that part of you that most people are even more afraid of because it's the part of you that has the power, has the motivation, has the strength that some people say, when you give them positive feedback or praises, they're like, oh, no. They can't take it because that part of them just pushes it away because they've always been told, you're stupid, you're bad, or those things. The true sense of security, the true sense of preparedness, your real value, your real worth, your true self, they all reside with the light shadow. Now, again, the most important part is to understand that the light shadow is a being. It's an entity. It's not shoving things down your unconscious self. Although it does reside there somewhere, it's accessed through those shadows, right? Is there anybody that has questions related to those things?
Well,
Okay.
one of them I just wanted to touch on quick is I think we do need an ego. Nothing bad about having it, but I think like for me, there's a clear defined definition or a line between like having an ego and then having confidence. So for me anyway, when we talk about ego, there's ego in that someone builds up this kind of false sense of like being. They put themselves up on this kind of weird pedestal that oversees everybody, and they kind of put themselves ahead of everybody no matter what, and they can be rude about it, they can be just dicks. But then there's confidence, and it's holding your head high, chest up, and having this confidence about yourself, and being able to answer questions confidently, walk confidently, think confidently about yourself, and not do it in a harmful way or a disrespectful way. So I think for me, there's a difference between, a big difference between ego and confidence. And those who have confidence are, good-hearted people and put their thoughts forward in the right way. Whereas ego can come across a little bit condescending.
I think you're talking about something a little bit different, Ashley.
Should be.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is like egoic behavior. So ego in the sense of light shadow theory is more about your defensiveness. So it's more about like the part of you that gives you, like, perpetuates your fears about moving forward, or your, defensiveness towards other people, or your defensiveness towards change or healing. So in light shadow theory, that ego is kind of like the inner golem almost, if you think about it. And it's not bad. We absolutely all need it. Otherwise, we become one of those weird people that holds crystals and like is so positive they accidentally walk off a cliff and don't care on their way down. It's meant to be. So the ego is kind of our boundary creator. But when we are healing our shadow, the ego fights to the death of it, because if its job is to maintain our current state of being, it views any change, even improvement, as death. And so when people are healing themselves and they're going into their shadow and they're pulling things into the light, they will get that fight back. They'll get the anxiety, they get snappy, they get bitchy, they get scared. And that goes for almost any kind of healing that anyone does. They'll have a moment of ego struggle, and then they have what's called an ego death, which is where they release that and they surrender to the experience. Anyway.
So correct. So in terms of the ego, you have the positive ego, which is the one giving you the information for you to actually analyze, deduct, and make a decision from, or choose. And then you have the negative ego, that's like the assassin on a 24-hour basis that's just trying to kill you with everything it's got.
Or kill anything that threatens and your current state of being.
Current existence. So in terms of that, the shadow self is everything you were manipulated or controlled to deny, if you want to look at it that way. And it's also what you've refused to take responsibility for, or all those things that you denied to take responsibility for over time. And so it's just shoved there. So as an example, the dark shadow would be gays, just not saying anything, denying their true sexual orientation, and just shoving it there until one day they allow themselves to really begin to shine and allow themselves to just be. And so the light shadow comes in, and then you have things like the power of knitting, or I saw he was drinking, so I'm going to make him burst out.
You almost had to buy me a new computer, LA. It was pretty close.
But no, all those things that are your true spiritual and personal character. I mean, you're truly funny, not because you're gay, but there's certain things that you'll speak a certain way, or attributes that you have, we never have, because you'll perceive and conceive reality a certain way that I won't be able to, because I don't have the same environment, the same upbringing, the
gay.
same all those things.
Same
And so the
walk-in
light
closet
shadow,
full of fancy clothes, dance
yeah.
moves, glitter.
So the light shadow, you know, although it wears a lot of different masks, is anything that allows you to, you'll see those things. Like for me, I've always watched people that are famous, successful, and that's a part of me that just
like Ashley.
people, just to help people, right? And so by looking at these people, I've learned success over the years. So that's the light shadow. You aspire to become like that, right?
But why are you calling it the light shadow? That's my theory. Is it like
Because there's a dark shadow and there's a light. All the light is everything that you can't take that are the positive sides of you.
right?
Dark shadow is everything that you've denied, manipulated, or people manipulated you in believing. If I take religion, you know, they try to make you feel bad to control you most of the time. Okay. And they don't accept, you know, if you're rich or if you're a certain sexual orientation, that's different. So you begin to believe that stuff and then you deny it. And then instead of being your true self with your own agenda, you start having hidden agendas.
Right.
But there's a part of you that knows your true agenda, your true life path, right? And as you allow yourself to know more and more, then your self-esteem grows, your self-confidence grows, because it holds the value, your self-worth, your ability to care, your ability to have intimacy with yourself and others. I'm not talking sex here. I'm talking intimacy with, you know, everything that is.
Different show.
It enables you.
The After Midnight episode.
You know,
Yeah.
It's what your character and your morality is made of.
Yeah.
And so it's always good to look towards that. But you need the light shadow because at some point, some people wouldn't be able to survive. Think of people that have been sexually abused, beaten. You know, I was at somebody's house recently, and the little boy comes and he says, "Can we play with this other little boy?" And I said, "Well, what's his name?" So I'm looking at the name, and I said, "Oh, this little boy, he gets beaten, doesn't he?" He says, "Yeah, his mom beats him very badly." I said, "Okay." Because I'm trying to look where they're playing and first trying to see if they have COVID. But anyways, I'm looking and I'm like, the first thing I see is, and I could see inside that kid, you know, the repression, the anger, the hurt, the pain. It's not going to flash in his face. You won't know. But if you know, for me, I tune to that vibration. I know how to contact that shadow. It's the first thing I see. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, he's still a nice boy. It's just unfortunately his environment and everything is making it bad for him, right? But if you look inside the light shadow, you can see that in the years coming ahead, this boy will build character to have some type of compassion towards others also. So I think that's very powerful for people to not only become aware of, but since, you know, you're staying home now's probably the time for people to start working and recognizing that shadow self and look at allowing it so that, you know, it starts to just unfold. Even for me to become psychic at one point, you know, one of the first time I heard, and I told somebody, they said, "Well, that's from the devil." You know, I'm like, oh. So I stopped reading people for a while and I just kept it to myself. And then I'm like, screw that. And then I started looking at all the people that I've helped change their lives. And I thought, okay, if I wasn't there, and I looked at alternate futures and you could see it's dark. So I thought, well, why would God allow me or give me or whatever have those abilities if it's for, you know, darkness, everybody, darkness.
Yeah, it
like
makes sense.
later, you know?
I think one of my favorite examples of the way that that things end up in the shadow, it was like, it's not, in the last 5 years, it hasn't been as prominent, but remember about 10 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, when everyone was into the power of positive thinking and law of attraction and The Secret, and if they thought that something terrible might potentially happen, then they would attract it, or if they got angry, that they would attract negativity to them.
Correct.
I think that was like a great example of how we shove things into the shadow, because it's natural for all people to have the full range of human emotion. I'm talking like the really dark anger all the way to the happy-go-lucky glitter.
Well, there's constructive anger when it's not repressed, right?
Exactly. That's what I
get angry. I mean, if I get angry because my kid is, I remember one time my son, I think he was like 5, he just decided to run across the street and there's a bus coming. I just grabbed him and screamed, right? I was angry, but then I explained it to him. That's constructive anger.
Yeah.
It's better than, you know.
It is, but at the end of the day, every single person on this planet is blessed with this amazing array of neurotransmitters and different types of hormones and things like that. If we were not meant to be pissed off and scared and angry and happy and joyful and compassionate and loving in whatever order that comes in during our 10 a.m. nervous breakdown and our 3 p.m. self-care, like, you know, if we weren't meant to have those experiences, we wouldn't. And I think that there was a lot of self-shaming where people were perpetuating their growth of their shadow and the deepening of their shadow in a non-healthy way, because they believed that if they had a negative emotion, that it would somehow throw off the balance of their entire existence, and then they wouldn't, you know, make it to the top of their Fortune 500 pyramid scheme. So like, you know, or whatever. So, you know, it's long story. It was like a wife swap episode, but anyway. Yeah, so like I think what I like seeing is in the last few years, people are becoming more open to having the full range of human experience. And I think that is where the magic is. If we can allow ourselves to experience genuinely what comes our way and fully live it, then the shadow doesn't stay as dark. You know, if we allow ourselves to delve into when we were 9 years old and got kicked off the playground or whatever, and go in and heal that and sit in that pain from that 9-year-old perspective, then all of that experience becomes wisdom, it becomes useful, and then we can go in with our light side and we can bring more healing to the world. So yeah, I think that's my rant. Don't suppress shit. Like, let it out.
You're like, yeah. But you're right, you know. And I think, while most people maybe know or don't know this, but shame is always shoved into the dark shadow.
Totally.
You know? And over time, shame, when it's not healed, you know, you'll have suicide, or you have people on drugs, or you'll have people in all types of bad shape, because, you know, there's childhood shame, adolescent shame, young adult shame, adult shame.
Yeah. Shame is like the packing tape of the shadow. It is. It's like what,
you know, but there's positive shame too, right? Positive shame is discernment. You know, it's for you to feel and say, you know what, that's wrong. And then you learn from it. But if you don't and you repress it, or you're conflicted, then it turns destructive. And unfortunately, it acts on you, and then it acts on your negative ego that gets even more pissed to try to like totally. And you know, I think over the last few years, the idea of shadow work is coming up. There was a really good book written by a lady named Debbie Ford. And it was called The Dark Side of the Light Teachers. I think we might have talked about this on the show once before. Debbie Ford, Yeah, she passed away, unfortunately, but one of her books is very, very good. It's one of the groundbreaking ones. She's the one that, you know, brought it to light, actually. And she does mention the dark, and I think she mentions the light shadow also. Yeah,
I'm sure. But yeah, and the original person who came up with light shadow theory in kind of a theoretical academic way, at least the first to my knowledge, was Carl Jung, who was an amazing psychoanalyst. He was Freud's like kind of colleague or business partner or whatever, and then they went their own ways. But Carl Jung had the most phenomenal concept of archetypes, including the shadow self and all these different archetypes and dream analysis and all of that. And a lot of the current things that we see in spiritual literature and, you know, spiritual healing and all that are current now are really seeds that Carl Jung planted 1 million years ago, by which I mean like the early 1900s. But he was amazing. So if anyone wants to look at the kind of like the father of that kind of way of psychology, Carl Jung's work is mind-blowingly cool. He was so esoteric. It was amazing.
That's very true. And also he brought about the archetypes, the archetypical energies, right?
Yeah.
Which over time, if you use the sense of voice, you're able to listen to and absolutely observe in your reality, whether it be the gambler, the prostitute, you know, the king, the warrior, all those archetypes, the magician.
It's true. It's amazing. And then if we can translate those archetypes and take them away from personal archetypes to like societal archetypes. And if you think about it, it's interesting. I wrote an article for a magazine, must have been almost 10 years ago. And it was it was called, I think it was called The Dance of the Archetypes or something like that, talking about from a mass consciousness level, a societal consciousness, agora level, that when one archetype comes out of balance, another global archetype is brought in to rebalance it. And I gave, I think, maybe the example of like war or something like that, and how when one country, the societal archetype becomes, like the dark warrior, then, a loving justice balancing country can come in to rebalance that energy. It's interesting to think about these things at a very interpersonal level, but see how these archetypes and light and shadow and all of that play right up into the mass consciousness. And we can see that this year. This year's a great example of the dance of these massive societal archetypes. It's phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, uncomfortable, but cool.
So in terms of that being said, talking about the light shadow, is anybody think about what's the good stuff for this week? I almost said the good. Ash, I'll let you say it.
What, the good shit?
Correct.
LA, let's do this. I'm going to teach you how to swear. Yeah. So just repeat after me, LA. The good.
The good. The good, yeah.
No, come on, let's do it. The good.
Like you said, the good.
No, say it with me. We can do this.
It won't come out.
I'm gonna go over there and I'm just gonna Heimlich it out of you.
You should.
So does anybody have anything? Let's ask the people there on.
Wait, are we on a good shit portion now?
Correct. Ash, anything in particular for this week? What about anybody in the crowd?
Anything good happen?
Donations to the food bank.
Everyone's
Everyone's
donating, which is good.
At this time of year, which I like because it's easy to forget and how to be so grateful, right? In terms of the how do you call it? The fact that they say it's I went to the Shoppers Drug Mart. I said, hey, I heard it's the most wonderful time of the year. The girl's just looking at me, right? In terms of that, we tend to forget. And Christmas time, everybody starts to be, happy or forgetting stuff. And then there's
funny you mentioned you tend to forget. People tend to forget what happy people are like because a lot of people are becoming grouchy because of COVID. And I am astonished how surprised people get when I either say something polite to somebody or I help them out. I thought my mic was off for a second. But it's almost like people just aren't used to nice people. It's weird.
Correct. And that's why I said, it's time to remember that there's also the magic of joy, which is, I mentioned that last week and some people didn't like it on another thing I talked about. But, we complain a lot and COVID. And I think, all of us this week, we just said, you know what, there's nothing really that's going to change in a week. Things are going to settle down. And at the same time, you have to remember that of all the things in the universe, we're probably the only dysfunctional ones. Okay. You don't see animals being depressed or anything like that, or plants thinking, you know what, it's winter. I really hate winter. They're all in harmony. And I think at this point, it's time to remember, because I find during Christmas, well, maybe not this one so far, but people tend to just be happy and kind again and, being back to quote normal. But this year it's a bit, again, it's the nervousness and everything. But I think it's time for us to remember that, to be grateful. And, if you have food, that's perfect. If you have a job, that's even better. If your family is well and healthy, just remember those things at the same time.
I think the fact that we have this pandemic going on right now is just giving people an excuse to just be a dick. And it's not okay. For instance, Black Friday on the weekend, the amount of people I saw not even caring about anybody parking, simply parking your car between the lines. It's something you learn in driver's ed, and something you pretty much need to do if you're going to get a driver's license. So I don't know how you forget it. And people are just parking on the middle of the line. So they're taking up 2 parking spaces. The worst, actually, I didn't yell an abusive yell at the lady, but I was at the grocery store and I'm in my car. I just got in my car And this older woman, she's probably in her 60s, parks her car, like wedges her car in this parking space, but like 3 feet over into another parking space where there's a car in a handicap parking space.
Ooh.
Oh, that's super shitty.
So I was like, lady, and she just didn't even give she just didn't care. And I'm like, if this person has to get in on the passenger side of the car with a wheelchair, and
Yeah.
you've taken up 3 extra feet, that person could possibly not get in the vehicle. Like,
Was this between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. and was she wearing yoga pants? I feel like.
no yoga pants. It was around 3:30, and she was hyper focused on the plants. On
Okay,
the
wait, that's in the Panera section time frame wise. Was she outside of Panera?
Metro. Close though. They also sell bread and soup.
They're actually
Okay.
lucky that you're no longer a police officer.
Yeah, no kidding.
Central Constable.
Your
But
hands on the hood. The hands on the hood now.
stick her straight in the face. But like, I don't know. Like, I don't think that the stress from the holidays or a pandemic should give you the right just to be a dick. The amount of people driving like Ricky Bobby on Innis Road or the highway, like, what for? What reason do you need to drive like that?
Yeah, no, it's
No
true.
reason.
People, I think, and this is again example of light, shadow, ego, all of that. When people are stuck, like when they feel stuck, they thrash around and they freak out and they do things like that, and they just don't care, and it's really, really sad. It is really sad, and yeah.
I don't even get it.
Yeah.
And this goes back to the whole people are super shocked and surprised when you're nice to them. Because right
Yeah.
now, the scary part is that most people are already anticipating either an argument or a stupid comment or a stupid action from somebody.
Yeah.
Like, that shouldn't be
It's
happening.
true.
You should
No.
be anticipating good actions from fellow
It's an example of everybody being on the defense, right? Like they're just waiting to lash at somebody. But what that is, that's buried pain. Like that's people who are frustrated, hurt, sad, and they've buried that, and so they're just waiting for the moment that they can unleash all of it, which I think is a societal problem. I mean, that's a good example of how we're, as a society, we've made a sick society because we've not allowed anyone time to heal and process. Like, there's nothing about our world that allows for people to sit and process their pain. And so, this is the kind of thing that you see after a year of people being stuck. But also, most people, or a lot of people, are very uncomfortable with themselves, uncomfortable with just being on their own. So we stick all these things together over the last year. I'm surprised it hasn't really happened sooner, to be honest.
But she's right, and we tend to forget about, as Melissa DeCola said, I had a wheelchair for a while, and if my ramp needed to come off the side of the van, I couldn't get out. So, some people tend to forget because you always think everybody is the same, right? So everybody's walking or everybody's the same or something like that. So speaking of possibilities and everything like that, let's start some reading. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I'll let you choose, Ash. Or do I choose?
Pressure's always on me. So if you guys want to ask a question, please don't say, "Is there anything about me?" Kind of the same thing I say all of the time, which is if you have a question, write your name and the question, and not, "Is there anything about me?" Because then if
specific questions,
if anyone asks, "Is there anything for me?" I'm going to give you a reading.
I feel like
it's gonna happen.
That'll be funny.
I can just if we fast forward that, she's gonna be walking around screaming, throwing boxes, throwing wrenches. Her dog is just gonna fly
My
out.
dark shadow's gonna come out.
Yeah, totally, guaranteed.
So I'll keep it on the light shadow. There's somebody here actually. I hope I'm pronouncing right. Gidget Dima. I hope I said that right. She said, I'll forget the first part, but my aunt passed away last Monday and I was really angry because she was alone. What's your aunt's name?
Cass Ryan, you're asking for it. She said, "Ashley, is there anything for me?"
Oh. Love coming soon for me. Okay, good. Please give me, sorry, let me be a little bit more specific here. What's the full name of your aunt? And age, if you have it, that's even better. But And then there's another person here. What was the question? Mary Hickman, is that clear enough? I just wondered about our small business in the future. Is that clear enough, or?
You asking me?
I think for you, Mary Hickman, the thing I'm getting, the message I'm getting is a bit better in about 6 months from now. That's the first thing I get in terms of the reading for that, without going into really specific details here. The other one is, let's see here. How come this is not moving anymore? Okay, that's not good. Here we go.
There you go.
Okay, Margaret Carolyn McKinnon. Okay, just a second. Here we go. The first thing I hear from this woman coming forward to me is not to worry about it. She did feel a sense of cold around the end, close to the end of what she was passing, or she's talking about something related to cold. But she's saying, and not to dwell too much about it, and that she's okay. There's more things coming towards you in terms of messages in your house that'll be a little bit more visible in about 2 weeks. But this just to take care of yourself right now. And she does say to start taking rest. She's showing you her very either fatigued or very stressed. I believe it's 2 days ago. And she's saying to look forward for the new year, especially probably after what seems to be February, spring, from what I'm seeing, from what she's saying. So I hope that helps you. Yes, and she does say that you're not alone, so you don't have to be afraid. And she wasn't afraid herself. In that sense, she seems to be at peace, and she was at peace just a couple of seconds or moments before, as she allowed herself to just leave, is what I'm sensing from what I'm seeing. So I hope this helps. Oh, ouch. Yeah, see, and she said she's been diagnosed with COVID, and we can see that some people are dying from it. I know some people that are relatives of others, they didn't believe in it at all in their country, and now they have it. One of them couldn't get up for a whole day, couldn't even feed her kids. And then my friend is like, do you believe in it now? And they said, yeah, we do. And I'm thinking, okay, well, it's about 8 months late. So in that sensing, again, since we're on the show, and just remind people, wear masks, social distance, and the holidays are coming. This morning or yesterday morning, I had, actually, I was working on the unconscious mind this morning. So this morning I woke up and I had this dream, or this, it's usually a premonition, just this wave coming maybe in 3 days of the US from that Thanksgiving. There's a wave coming. I could just feel the wave itself without calling it a tsunami. I think it's
tsunami.
So. Matt?
All right, let's see who I'm drawing.
Sorry, I forgot about you. I forgot about you guys.
Everybody does. Everybody does.
Okay, yes.
All right, let's see. Ray says, do you see any future relationships? Yes, I do. I actually see March for you for this. I feel like this will be the very end of the third week of March. So I'm going to say the third weekend in March. I do see somebody stepping in for you. And they're saying that you're going to know this is about to happen because you're going to see somebody that either you were with in the past or were interested in. And I think this is far past. And I feel like you're going to run into them, see them somewhere, and be like, oh, God. And then within about 72 hours of that, so that can be your signpost. When that happens, know that that a good relationship is on its way. Because within 72 hours of you seeing this person, I feel like you're going to meet somebody that is worth your time. I can't say that it will be forever, but I can see that it will have all of the components that both of you need to make a long, positive, like really good, solid love life relationship out of it, Ray. So I feel like this is going to be a good opportunity for you. The interesting thing about your love life energy is that there isn't a lot of what I call predestination, which is actually a benefit. It means that in the future, there's not crazy, hard, difficult lessons that you're going to have to learn through your love life. It means that all of it is truly extra free will oriented. So you will be able to have relationships with anybody that you feel drawn to. And I don't see that anything will stop them or perpetuate them further unless you choose that. So, sometimes we have lessons that we have to learn in a certain area of our life. And so there's an element of predestination. When there isn't, it's an open playing field. And really whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. But I do see the third weekend of March-ish as the time where this will happen for you, and it looks very good. Also, someone named Leah is going to be present to help you with this. So it could be somebody you know or somebody that you're going to meet that will introduce you in this person, but it looks very good.
In terms of for myself, I believe it's Ray Ray, her name. Was that it?
Oh,
It disappeared.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
think,
I accidentally.
let's see here. Let's see that one. Sorry, I lost it. I had it right there. Oh yes, maybe probably 1 or 2 or 3 issues of trust, and then you'll cement something of a good foundation to be able to actually work on the relationship and be a little bit more yourself in terms of free will and trusting. Here we go. How many? Oh, we have another 5 minutes. Okay, let's pick somebody
a
up.
lot of people coming in here.
You're welcome, Ray Ray. Here we go.
Oh, wrong screen.
Oh, here we go. I always have hard time finding somebody, but reading these things here.
Yeah, because they keep flowing up, so it's hard to like stay fixed
Yeah,
on one.
exactly. Let's see here. Anybody in particular? Let's see here.
Um,
I'm getting a spirit coming forward on their own. I don't know.
do it.
All right.
Go for it.
All right, let me get my pen. Let's see.
Get your pen.
All
You
right,
start
so-
scribbling, boy.
I am. So I'm getting a man coming in. This man comes in as not super elderly. Like I can't place him in his 80s or 90s, but I've got to place him over the age of 50. So I'm going to say he's in his 60s, maybe 70s at his time of passing. I also feel like he was kind of like a solidly built man, a little curvy. And I get this feeling that he was a really, really loving guy. I also feel like he passed away from a really acute heart condition. And I also feel like he had diabetes or blood sugar issues leading up to that. I'm very drawn to February and March as important to him. So it could be birth, death, or something else of significance. And I also feel like he had that kind of like country guy look as well in his physical appearance. I can also hear a guitar strumming in the background. So to me, that usually means that he played guitar or, you know, like was involved in music in some way. He's also showing me the 9th of the month, and I'm also seeing June or a J, so June or July, also is important to him for timing for something. He is coming forward for a woman. He is telling me that she's been feeling a lot of doubt in her path, that she's been feeling a lot of like doubt, fears, and an uncertainty about what she's supposed to be focusing on in her path. He's also mentioning that earlier in the year, she kind of distanced herself from people, not because of COVID. It was not social distancing, but an emotional distancing from people. And that was at the beginning of summer, he says, and she's been kind of focusing inward ever since, but now she feels like a little bit lost. He's saying, do not worry, you are not lost. And right at the beginning of the new year, good things begin to happen for you. And I also want to say that this would be either a father figure or a grandfather figure to somebody who's either watching this now or will watch this in the future. Skylight says my dad was in a band. Maybe it's your dad. Yeah.
Boom.
Good. Thank you. That was very,
Yeah.
That's good. In terms of another one here, really fast, Skylight. Sorry, it's gone. My depression is so bad since I lost my son in July. I'm sensing that about 6-7 months, your spirit will grow up in terms of being lighter and having gone through that period of grief. But in terms of your son, from what I'm sensing behind you, I believe he's okay and he's doing well. But again, in terms of your depression, you're going to have to give it some time to go through that grief for 6-7 months, and everything after that. Things after that will start being lighter for you, and then you'll get back that little sense of joy coming back, and sort of allowing yourself to also having grieved properly and allowing yourself to sort of let go of the past and being able to then start feeling joy and allowing yourself to be happy again. But about after 5 for sure, and 6-7 months from now. So again, yes, thank you. In terms of your son, you might be able to sense him around the 26th. I'm not sure why. That's the date I'm sensing. It seems to be after Christmas, maybe one day, and before the end of the year, but it seems to be around the 26th, something that you'll pick up or become aware of, and then that'll help you know that your son is okay and that he's there behind you on the left is what I'm sensing for you in that sensing. So Matthew, Ashley, any last words for the day? Thank you everyone, first of all, for being there. Again, the show next week, 7:00 on Sundays. Ashley, Matthew, and I, and of course, we'll have figured out, or I'll have figured out the yoga pant thing, a draw or whatever.
So bad.
Christmas, whatever.
I just want to say one thing, because I feel like two people in the chat are almost like fighting over who the message was for.
I saw that.
So I want to just say, in my experience, it can actually be both. And I have a long story I can tell you about that, but in my experience, it can be both. If the message has resonated with both of you, I believe it's for both of you, and it's both of your fathers coming forward. And the reason why they come forward like that is called piggybacking. It's because they were so similar that I'm picking them up as one person, even though they're two different people with messages for both of you. So if they resonated, please take those messages. I do not feel that you guys need to fight over who that was for. Yeah, and actually they're showing me something else. So one of you has, I don't know how to describe these. When I look inside your front door where you keep your shoes, one of you has shoes that are very flat looking with like little holes and weird laces, almost like boat shoes or something. I see something like that with one of you. With the other one, I feel like if you look at your microwave in your kitchen right now, the time isn't on it. So take that in whatever direction you want, but I feel like that is some additional proof that both of your fathers are with you.
Now I want to stalk the comments and see who it is.
Yeah, me too, a little bit. So the chat, okay.
Thank you, no fighting.
Don't fight. I believe it. I know that you guys weren't fighting, but it looked like it was like, it's my dad. No, it's my dad. No, it's my dad. So I believe that it's probably both of your dads coming forward, and I'm a tired ass medium, so I think I was picking up as one spirit, which is called piggybacking, which is a very usual.
That's
like,
good. I didn't even know that.
It's not
There
an
you go.
uncommon phenomenon in mediumship.
I'm learning.
We're a new thing every
If
day.
two spirits are really similar, the medium often feels it as one person. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Things you learn.
Any last words for today? The show is at an end. Everyone, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. We hope you share the show with others so that we can help others.
Skylight says I have those type of shoes. Cool. Perfect.
Do you have time on your microwave for your stove?
That would mean Christine Gauthier probably will have no time on her microwave, because one of them, it was 2 proof, one for each of them, and to let them know that both of their fathers came forward as one person.
Come on.
Christine says I had the time on the microwave, so maybe that was it off. That's called a miss. That's called a miss.
Recalibrate.
Sleep is more like it. I'm gonna sleep so I can do all of this again
tomorrow. I just realized it usually takes me a whole day to get back on track.
You know what? I just need like a few hours of like Golden Girls or Schitt's Creek, a couple of cigarettes, a glass of water, and I'm good to go. Sure.
It's hilarious.
All right, guys. Be nice to people. Don't be a dick.
And if you're gonna